Cheaters, the all-powerful Yanks, jiggling their lineup, looking for runs in an effort to keep Boston at bay. Great Scott, Brocious, and Tito Martinez seem happy about that. Has an Angel mutiny been averted? Can manager Terry Collins steer the ship out of rough waters? Well, the Halos trying not to gloss over the bright spots. Real men bear down when the going gets tough. Angels in the Bronx coming up next on FX Baseball Saturday night. FX welcomes you to the Big Apple from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Second of a three-game weekend series between the defending world champion New York Yankees and the struggling Anaheim Angels. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to FX Baseball Saturday night. I'm Kenny Albert with former Yankee, former Angel Ken Brett. And Ken, last night in the first game of this series, Yankees won it 4-1, and their MVP candidate, Derek Jeter, the star, once again 2 for 3, and he stole home.
You know, Derek Jeter, one of the many candidates for MVP this year, but if you look at the numbers he has on the board, average second, hit second, on-base percentage second, multi-hit games first in the American League. Here's a guy that looks like he could be an MVP this year, not only on the field, how about off the field? Magazine covers, he's single, this is New York, this is his town.
And Derek Jeter on the cover of Sports Illustrated this week as well. Now, as far as the Angels are concerned, they're struggling. 10 players on the DL. They've lost 5 in a row. Not exactly what they had in mind when they signed Mo Vaughn.
Now, Mo Vaughn is the kind of a guy that's going to lead this team on and off the field. He is not having the kind of numbers I think that he would expect, but he's not getting a lot of protection in the lineup, but yet his numbers are still pretty good. He is a big, powerful left-handed hitter, but with no protection, Salmon out of the lineup, some of the guys struggling behind him, it is still his team to lead.
So Mo Vaughn and the Angels will try and break out of their 5-game losing streak tonight here in the Bronx against the Yankees. Hideki Irabu, who will take the mound coming off 2 terrific starts. Omar Oliveras will try and shut down Bernie Williams and the Yanks. Night on FX is brought to you by Gateway. Gateway speaks to 50,000 people a day. Call, click, or come in and connect with us.
Ladies and gentlemen,
welcome back to Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hideki Irabu getting set for his 9th start of the season, his second against the Anaheim Angels, as we join in with legendary organist Eddie Layton with Yankee Stadium organ. Prior to the second of this 3-game series, Yankees a 4-1 victory last night over the Angels, who swept the Yankees here at Yankee Stadium in May. The Angels 8 games under 500, 29-37, 9.5 out in the American League West behind the division-leading Texas Rangers. Left fielder Orlando Palmeiro will lead things off, followed by the former Yankee Randy Velarde. DH Mo Vaughn bats third. Mo with 14 home runs on the season, 10 in his last 31 games. Todd Green, the right fielder, in the cleanup spot, followed by the struggling center fielder Garrett Anderson. Broke an 0 for 30 last night. Troy Gloss Holbert last night. He bats 6th. Darren Erstad down to the number 7 position. Matt Walbeck behind the plate for the Angels bats 8th. And the shortstop Jeff Houston will bat 9th against 30-year-old right-hander Hideki Irabu.
And he's a big man, Ken. He's 6'4", 240 pounds. Here's what he throws. Fastball, split-finger fastball, curveball. Occasionally will throw a changeup, but usually that depends on how long he stays in the ball game. He's been pitching better lately because he's been making less mistakes. He's very poor defensively, covering first base and fielding his position once he lets go of the ball.
And defensively for the Yankees, Jorge Posada will be behind the plate. Around the infield, Martinez, Knobloch, who struggled, 11 errors for Chuck, Jeter, and Brocious, the World Series MVP. Spencer, 2-time Gold Glove Award winner Bernie Williams in center. Paul O'Neill, who had last night off in right field. And Orlando Palmeiro steps in to lead things off for the Angels against Irabu, who faced Anaheim, and Omar Oliveras, his mound opponent tonight. Back on May 13th here at Yankee Stadium, a game won by the Angels 2-0, but Irabu pitched well. Palmeiro batting .283 on the season as he took ball 1. Palmeiro, Velarde, and Vaughn here in the first for the Angels. And a strike called by the home plate umpire, Mike Riley. There you see the numbers on Orlando. Hit his first major league home run earlier this season. And the 1-1 from Arabu misses high and tight. 2-1.
Yeah, Palmeiro's the kind of a player, great guy to have on your club. I don't think he's the kind of player you want to start every day, but a very good fourth outfielder, can run pretty well, play all three outfield positions.
Now Arabu, who does not walk many batters, falls behind 3 balls, 1 strike. He's walked only 8 all season in 54 2/3. 40 strikeouts for Arabu, only 8 walks.
And here's the kind of a guy you do not want to walk. Just throw the ball over the plate. Make him put the ball in play, and there's ball 4.
Walk number 9 issued by Arabu. This is his 13th game, his 9th start, 3-3, with an earned run average just under 5. So Palmeiro, the leadoff man, is on for the Angels. And that brings up the former Yankee. He spent parts of 9 seasons here in New York, Randy Velarde.
I know the Angels have always been very happy with Velarde now that he's on their team, because he used to kill the Angels. And I think that's one of the reasons the Angels had a great desire to go out and get this guy. And of course, after they got him, he had those serious arm problems. But he has done a good, steady, very capable job at second base since he's recovered.
And Velarde takes ball 1 from Arabu. Orlando Palmeiro is the runner on first for the Angels here in the top of the first. Velarde batting .286 on the season. Only 151 over his last 14 games. The entire Angels team struggling offensively. They've scored only 18 runs in their last 10 games. They're last in the American League in runs scored, second from the bottom in hits.
Yeah, their numbers are not good offensively. Normally this team would play well if you look at the overall numbers, but when you're not hitting, it just becomes that much more magnified. Yeah, their pitching has been pretty good. Their defense has been very good, but when you don't hit, you still lose. You got to hit a little bit to win.
5 consecutive losses for Terry Collins' club. 3-10 over the last 13. 1-1 on Randy Velarde. And the off-speed pitch, strike 2 call.
Nice little pitch right there. Very nice breaking ball. Took a little something off the pitch. Arabu was a strikeout pitcher. When he was in Japan, 94 and 95, led the league in strikeouts, well over 200 per season.
The 1-2 fouled off, so Velarde stays alive.
And it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know you live in New York, he's always in a little bit of trouble here. He's always one start away from out of the rotation. Let's do something about this. But he's been pitching well of late.
Joe Torre very happy with Arabu's last 2 starts. The pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre on the right. Torre said he would like to see Arabu keep up the consistency. He beat Texas on Monday. Pitched very well, an 8-2 Yankee win. And in his prior start, Yankees wound up losing the game 11-5 in Philadelphia, but Arabu left with a 5-1 lead against Curt Schilling. One ball, 2 strikes the count. Randy Velarde at the plate, nobody out in the Angels first. And he goes down on strikes. Strikeout number 1 for Arabu.
So an unusual walk to start things off. Here's a strikeout. The pitch. Looks like the split finger right there. Notice how the pitch went down. And right over the top goes Velarde. And of course, you can get the hitters to swing at that split finger pitch, but you've got to be ahead in the count. Get ahead with strikes, get them out with balls.
And now the jeers from the crowd as local product Mo Vaughn steps in and smashes a base hit into right field on the first pitch from Arabu. That is the first hit for Vaughn off Arabu that did not leave the ballpark. He was 2 for 6 against Hideki, and the 2 hits were homers. So first and second for the Angels with 1 out.
Here's the pitch. And if you notice one thing about Mo Vaughn, he's in the strike zone. His arms are literally in the strike zone. He's almost defying you to throw him in and aggressively in off the plate.
Bo broke an 0 for 12 slump last night. Grew up in Connecticut. Went to Seton Hall, about 10 miles from Yankee Stadium. Todd Green, the Angels cleanup man. Batting .275. He's already set a new career high with 10 home runs on the year. Green steps in with runners on first and second, 1 out. Palmeiro is the runner on second. Mo Vaughn on at first. Arabo missing on the outside corner, 1-1.
Of course, Green was supposed to do some catching this year, coming off from shoulder problems the last couple of years, but they've always wanted to get his bat in the lineup in some form. They wanted him to be the DH, but with Vaughn having an ankle injury, he finds himself in the outfield now due to injuries.
As we mentioned in the open, 10 Angels, 6 position players, 4 pitchers on the disabled list, including Jim Edmonds, Tim Salmon, Gary DiSarcina, 3 of their top players.
DiSarcina, I think, hopeful to come back in about a week or so. Hopeful.
2-1 pitch now, 2 balls, 2 strikes. DiSarcina, along with Jack McDowell, scheduled to play in an exhibition game between the Angels and one of their minor league clubs on Monday.
He's still here? Yeah, Jack's going to get a start Monday against that Double-A team, and if, you know, who knows, they might get him back maybe in a month or so. But he's had so many arm problems over the last couple of years. I think there's a big question mark around his name.
The 2-2 to Green, lifted in the air to center. Bernie Williams coming on, and he makes the catch. 2 out. Well, Tim Salmon with the wrist injury. Edmonds will be out for the year. And DiSarcina injured way back in early spring training.
And you talk about the Angels, and you look at the Angels' record. 9.5 games out of first place. They've got a very poor record right now. These guys would make the difference of between black and white. 3 solid players.
Garrett Anderson steps in with 2 outs. Angels 9.5 out because the Texas Rangers lost today to the Boston Red Sox 7-4. So the Red Sox pulled to within 1 game of the Yankees.
Red Sox have played well, but I don't think they're in the same category that the Yankees are.
And the Blue Jays have slipped over the last couple of weeks. Orioles coming on. They will play the Red Sox this coming week at Camden Yards. Strike called, 1-1 on Garrett Anderson, another one of the slumping Angels. He ended an 0 for 30 stretch with an infield hit last night. He's the only Angel to play in all of their games so far. One and 2.
Yesterday afternoon, I came out to the ballpark, and Garrett was taking batting practice, and Rod Carew was working with him one-on-one, trying to get him out of his slump. Larry Bow was throwing to him, and they were throwing him a lot of off-speed pitch. And Carew behind the plate was saying hard or soft, in or out. And they were telling me that Garrett Anderson is in denial. He doesn't think he's in a slump. He's 1 for 33 or 1 for 34. But he thinks he's swinging the bat well. And that's a problem. But as long as he maintains his confidence, he will come out of it. He's the kind of a player that I think would have a hard time going 1 for 34 because he constantly puts the ball in play. I was surprised when I saw that he was 0 for 30.
The 1-2 from Arabu. A slow roller back to the pitcher, and he throws Anderson out. So the Angels strand 2 in the top of the first from Yankee Stadium. Albert, Ken Brett back at Yankee Stadium. Do you think camera number 2 is getting a much different look than camera number 4?
Well, I'd like to know how they drew for positions out there, because I think there probably is an A position and a B position and a C position. I don't know which one we are, but that's big time out there.
And a D and an E.
Yeah.
And an F somewhere. For the Yankees, 38 and 27. Chuck Knobloch, the second baseman, will lead things off, followed by the center fielder, Bernie Williams. Joe Torre has shuffled the batting order. Williams batting second once again tonight. Derek Jeter last night batted third for the first time in his 4-year career. Tino Martinez in the cleanup spot, working on a 7-game hitting streak. Paul O'Neill will bat 5th, followed by the DH, Chili Davis. The former Angel catcher Jorge Posada bats 7th. James Spencer and Scott Brocious in the 8 and 9 spots For the Yankees, Omar Olivares with a record of 6-4 on the mound for the Angels. He has the best earned run average amongst Anaheim starters. He's the only Angel starter with a winning record, and he will face Chuck Knobloch here in the bottom of the first. And Knobloch, who struggled in all areas this year, takes strike one.
Yeah, here's a guy that hit .299 lifetime before he became a member of the Yankees. Now, the Yankees had a great year last year. He did not have a good year. He's down on his numbers from last year. Yankees still 11 games over 500, still in first place.
1-1 on Knobloch. Chuck only 3 for his last 20. And here are the numbers on Omar Olivares.
I'll tell you what, 3.22 ERA, 74 hits in 81 innings. Not a lot of walks, not too many strikeouts, but when he's on, he'll get a lot of ground balls. He's had an outstanding year for California.
Olivares shut out the Yankees back on May 13th. Shut out Hideki Irabu and the Yankees 2-0. Omar went 6 2/3 in that game.
Scouting report on Omar: sinking fastball. He's got to establish the fastball. Also throws a curveball and a changeup. Don't trick him. And I'll talk about that in just a second. The other thing, the Yankees, a lot of switch hitters, left-handers. He has got to pitch them in tonight.
Knobloch lifts this one into right center, and the catch is made by Garrett Anderson. One away. Well, the Angels committed 3 errors last night. However, they are tied for second in the American League in fielding. Matt Walbeck behind the plate. Erstad, Velarde, Houston, and Gloss. Palmeiro, Anderson, and Green in the outfield. Garrett Anderson, as we mentioned, the only Angel who has appeared in all 67 games this season.
And we talked about Omar Olivares just a moment ago. Don't trick him. What we mean when we say that is early in the season last year, Omar was very successful. And then in June and July last year, he struggled. Lost 6 or 7 games in a row. He was trying to trick the hitters. He thought the second and third time around other teams in the lineup, he had to pitch differently. Don't trick him, Omar. Go after the hitters like you did the first time. Your stuff is good enough. And there's that pitch in that he has got to throw to left-handers.
0-2 to the switch hitter, Bernie Williams. He's batting .313 from the left side this year. And he gets a piece of that one to stay alive. If anybody knows about Omar Olivares, it's Joe Torre. He managed Olivares for 5 years with the St. Louis Cardinals back in the early 90s. Olivares, an up and down career so far. He won a career high 11 games way back in '91. He went 9-9 for the Angels last year, and he strikes out Bernie. A called strike 3.
Where was the pitch? Hard and in. And of course, all that's going to do is make the pitch away better later in the ballgame. Look at the glove, look at the ball. Right there, right on the money. That's a great pitch. Watch the pitch track here. In. 89 mile an hour.
Strikeout number 1 for Olivares. In steps the Yankees' new number 3 hitter, Derek Jeter, batting .377, second in the American League behind Tony Fernandez of the Toronto Blue Jays.
And I tell you what, isn't that a great story? Rod Carew was talking about Tony Hernandez, and Rod said he reminds me a lot of the way I hit late in my career. Tony Hernandez is no kid anymore, but yet he's still hitting over 400. I think I said Hernandez. Of course, it's Fernandez.
One and one on Derek Jeter. Our Toyota League leaders, Rafael Palmeiro, is third at .349. Bounce to the hole, it's short. Backhanded by Houston, had some trouble with it. The throw is in the dirt, and Derek Jeter has now reached base in 65 of 66 Yankee games this season.
You know, we talked about last night just a moment ago. The Angels made some defensive mistakes last night. Houston drops the ball here, has to rush the throw. I thought Erstad did a great job of catching the ball, but the throw was just a little late. Look at the hustle on the part of Jeter. You always got to run to first base hard in case something like that happens. Error, shortstop.
First error of the season committed by Houston. The only game in which Jeter did not reach base 2 Sundays ago against the Mets in the Interleague Subway Series. Yankees won the Friday and Saturday games. Mets came back. Al Leiter beat Roger Clemens on Sunday. And that was the only game this year Jeter has not reached base. He had reached in 53 straight.
And he's gotten hits just about in every game. I mean, he's had some tremendous streaks of hitting.
Tino Martinez working on a 7-game hitting streak. And he takes ball 1. Tino 6 for 12 lifetime against Olivares. 2 outs. Runner on first. Bottom of the first with no score.
And of course, one other thing about Jeter, he's got 40 walks so far this year. He's on track for about 100 base on balls, and of course, that counts getting on base too.
Jeter among the league leaders, among the top 10 in 9 offensive categories. Bounce to second. Velarde. Easy play to first. And that will do it for the Yankees in the first. 1 error committed by the Angels. Yankees strand 1. We are scoreless. Terry Collins and the Angels, losers of 5 consecutive games, as we head to the top of the second with no score. And Troy Gloss swings at the first pitch and flies out to the center fielder, Ernie Williams.
Did I notice a little more gray hair on Terry's?
Perhaps.
You know, I think everybody knows the story. The Angels are talking about re-upping, signing him up for another 2-year contract, and all of a sudden 14 or let's play a group of players say, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And now you have a little battle on your hands, and it's going to be interesting to see who wins. And for people who say the Angels are having some problems in the locker room, make no mistake, there are some problems down there. Make no mistake. And who's going to win the battle? Front office wanted to sign him, the players might not. Who is going to win? I'll tell you who I think is going to win.
Aaron Erstad takes ball 1. Following the game on Tuesday, a 13-2 loss to the Blue Jays, Collins held a 45-minute team meeting.
I think the players are going to win.
They usually do.
In this game, in this day and age, players might win. And how about Darren Erstad hitting 7th in the lineup? Here's a guy that can flat out hit, and he is just struggling. He's got an 8-game hitting streak, but look at that. 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, only 243. He's a whole lot better than that.
Now 2-1 on Erstad. Erstad 0 for 9 in his career against Arabu. And he takes strike 2.
Working the outside corner very nicely. And I'll see if he tries to come inside here. You get him leaning a little bit out over the plate, throwing something hard in.
1 out in the Angels' second. The 2-2 in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Darren Erstad struggling this year. He went to the All-Star game last year. Also won a national title in college football as the punter with Nebraska.
Yeah, first pick in the draft, 284 as a rookie, 54 extra base hits and an All-Star. I mean, this guy was up and coming.
That pitch was high, ball 4, second walk in 2 innings issued by Arabu. Well, Ken, tonight's Macho movie will heat up your night. Catch Open Fire tonight at 11:30 only on FX. Tonight's Macho movie.
I can go back to the old hotel and watch that baby.
Absolutely.
Oh, baby, here we go.
Erstad on the move. Here's the throw from Posada, not in time. And Erstad is in with his 4th stolen base this season.
One thing the Angels have been very poor at this year is base stealing. Erstad is a guy that has good speed, and this time he gets a stolen base. A little slow to the plate. Look at that big leg kick, and of course you're taking all the chances away from the catcher right there. Head first slide.
Angels 26th steal, fewest in the American League. Velarde is their leader with 9, a career high for him.
And Velarde's not the kind of a guy that you would think is a base stealer. This is the team, even if they were healthy, would not be running a whole lot. But of course, they're missing some of their key players. And if they had those key players, they wouldn't be in a position where they wanted to run a whole lot because they were pretty good mashers.
Off-speed pitch misses to Walbeck. 1-1. Aside from Velarde, no other Angel with more than 4 steals. So the Angels with a runner in scoring position. Erstad with 1 out. And an amazing stat last night when Gloss homered in the 8th. Prior to that home run, the Angels did not advance a runner past second base in 20 innings. Larry Bowa, their third base coach, said he got to know a lot about the umpire and the third baseman over the previous 2 games. No Angel reached third in 20 innings.
Yeah, one of the things that Bowa told me yesterday afternoon by the cage is he says, we got a lot of home run hitters on this team that don't hit home runs. You know, there are certain hitters in the lineup that are not supposed to hit home runs. They're supposed to put the ball in play, hit the ball on the ground, make some things happen. You try to hit home runs, you become a different hitter.
2-2 on Walbeck as Arabu steps off.
The same Larry Bowa, when he talked about Darren Erstad, and I'll go back to last year when I was working for FX, of course, loves Darren Erstad. Comes to play hard, wants to play when he's hurt. This was his team last year until Movan came around.
In the dirt, it gets away from Posada. And Erstad moves over to third.
So a little bit of control problems early in the ball game. 2 walks already for Arabu. Here's another one of those pitches in the dirt. He tries to block it, but that ball bounced so far in front of him, and that's nothing he can do about it. That's a wild pitch. So now a runner on third and 1 out, and if they can do one of those little things that they haven't been doing too well lately, they get a run here. Infield is in defensively.
And Larry Bowa has a friend to chat with.
Yeah.
Full count on Walbeck. And he lifts this one in the air, shallow left field. Coming on is Shane Spencer. He makes the catch, and Erstad will hold.
You know, baseball's not always how many home runs you hit. It's not the team that leads the league in home runs that generally wins the pennant. It's the teams over the course of the 162 games that moves runners along, hits the necessary sacrifice flies, and do a lot of the little things that help you win the extra 10, 15 ball games over a season. And when you don't do those things, it just becomes that much more of a magnifying factor as to why you're not winning.
Now the shortstop, Jeff Houston, steps in. Houston batting .247, and he takes strike 1. Angels already 0 for 3 tonight with runners in scoring position. In Arabu's last start, he held the Texas Rangers to 0 for 7 with runners on second and third. Once again, the pitch from Arabu in the dirt. Third time.
That's about the third time he's thrown that ball in the dirt like that. This time, by keeping the ball in front of him, Posada has just saved a run. I mean, look at this. That ball bounces 3 feet in front of the plate. Those are the tough ones to catch. Because that ball can go anywhere with the spin on it.
The 1-1. Lifted foul down the left field line. 1-2. Angels stranded 2 runners in the first inning. They now have a man on third in the person of Darren Erstad with 2 outs. Arabu's 38th pitch of the game. It's in the dirt again. For the 4th time.
Obviously, the split finger pitch having no luck with tonight. But one thing you've got to be able to do as a catcher, you cannot be afraid to call that pitch. And I give Posada credit. He's saying, keep on throwing it. It's going to come around. It's going to be a good pitch for it, hopefully before the night over. Trust me to make the play defensively.
Posada, the human backstop on the right. Hideki Arabu getting set. The 2-2 to Houston. In the air, left center. Williams coming on, makes the catch. Inning over. So the Angels Fran Erstad on third. No score after an inning and a half. Well, Jorge Posada, the Yankees catcher, has done a good job over the first 2 innings, blocking 4 Hideki Irabu pitches in the dirt. Posada will bat third this inning. Fellow catcher Joe Girardi on Jorge's left. Girardi has been somewhat of a mentor to Posada. Yankees re-signed Girardi during this past offseason. There was some question as to whether or not they would bring Joe back, but he has been a terrific teacher to Posada. In some situations, the veteran would not necessarily spend as much time working with the youngster, who will eventually take his job on a full-time basis.
And sometimes it's that veteran who gets the contract to continue on for another year or two on what could be another world championship team. So he has made some good decisions in teaching the youngster.
George Steinbrenner and general manager Brian Cashman realized the importance of bringing Girardi back, both for the chemistry of this Yankee team, which has won twice in the last 3 years, and to help bring Posada along.
And I think Posada was always going to be the guy who was going to be the catcher eventually, so work with him.
Paul O'Neill, who has moved down to the number 5 spot, did not play last night. Joe Torre gave Paul the evening off against Chuck Finley. Ahead of the count, 3-1. Chili Davis waiting on deck. Friend of yours, Ken?
My pass. They always show my passes on TV. There's a few more that they'll show over the course of the game. You know.
Spread out throughout Yankee Stadium.
Well, you meet some interesting people in town, don't you?
What'd you play, 2 games with the Yankees?
I got in 2 games in 40 days. Yeah, I was well rested when they traded me.
You paid well per game.
Not at that time. You'd be surprised how little it was at that time. Could barely afford the rent. Lived in the city, though. Lived right in the city.
Yeah, he finally sat down. Full count on Paul O'Neill, leading off the Yankees second. In the air to center. Anderson, 1 out. Oh, he dropped it. So O'Neill is on, leading off the second.
I mean, he's standing underneath this ball. I was getting ready to write it in the book. Popped right out. Now O'Neill's a little upset here, and he has quit running. So the question is, could he have made it to second? I don't know. But, you know, you got to run hard to first base. Run hard to first base takes 4 seconds.
Second error of the game committed by the Angels in 2 innings. Chili Davis steps in. Just 2 nights ago, Chili lined into a triple play on Thursday.
Runners on first and second. They're going on contact. There's the second out. Back to first for the third out.
He also hit into a double play later in the same game. He hit 2 balls hard.
Made 5 outs.
5 outs. And Chili recalled after that game that he lined into a triple play in his first at-bat in Double-A back in 1980 in the Giants organization.
Yeah, probably not the kind of an event that you forget about.
No. Yankees split that series with the Rangers, each club winning 2 of the 4 games. 0-2 on Davis. Nobody out. O'Neill on first, and he is on the move. Here's the throw from Walbeck, and it is not in time. It pulled Houston off the bag, and O'Neill steals his 4th base of the season.
4 stolen bases here. Now, this is the kind of a throw that the catcher's got to make. He gets a good ball to throw him out on, but just throws way off the bag. Anything near the bag, he's out by a couple of steps.
So the Yankees with a runner in scoring position for the first time tonight. The 1-2. Davis bounces to the right side. Erstad takes it himself, 1 away. But Chili moves O'Neill over to third.
Now we're going to talk about the little things here, aren't we? That ball was right in on his fist. And that's really the same place that O'Neill's ball was in that lazy fly ball to center field that he dropped. Watch where this ball is, and watch Chili try to pull it. I mean, he did not get a good swing at that at all, but yet it's the right kind of an out to make, because now Yankees with one out, runner on third, just like the Angels did, top of the second. Angels did not convert. Let's see if Posada can. And those are the kind of outs that managers love to see, and that's why guys get paid.
So Chile did his job. Now Posada steps in, who's done his job behind the plate tonight. Now batting for the first time with the infield in. Angels did not want to give up a run here. They're not scoring many runs. And Posada with a base hit to right field, driving in the first run of the game. RBI number 27 for Posada, 1-0 Yankees.
So the error the Angels make, second in the ball game, comes back to haunt them in the second inning here. And of course with the infield in, it doesn't take much to get that by. No lateral range for your infielders. Little one hopper right in the hole. If he's playing back, that's an easy 4-3 out, and the run scores. But Terry Collins decides his team not scoring runs. We've got to keep this game close.
First base hit of the game for the Yankees as Posada drives in O'Neill. And remember, if Anderson catches that ball in center, the inning is over. The infield does not play in. 4-3, 3 up, 3 down. Here's Shane Spencer, swings at the first pitch, popped up to the right side. Verstad calling for it. And now 2 away for Scott Brocious.
Not too often you give big league teams more than 3 outs where it's going to come back to hurt you. And you give them 5. Uh-oh, look out.
So with 2 away, here's Scott Brocious, who led off the other night for the first time as a Yankee. Back to his more frequent number 9 position in the batting order. Drove in 98 runs last year, batting 7th, 8th, and 9th.
And I think the question you have to ask yourself if you're a Yankee fan is, who's the real Scott Brocious? Is it last year? Is it the year before last year, 98, or is it this year?
Olivares off the mound. And that will do it for the Yankees in the second, but they score a run thanks to the error, the drop fly ball by center fielder Garrett Anderson. Yankees and Hideki Irabu leading the Angels 1-0 through 2 innings. Yankees trying to keep pace with the Red Sox, who won this afternoon 7-4 over the Rangers. So Boston has pulled back to within 1 game of the Yanks.
Of course, Boston, I think, playing pretty well this year. Baltimore, of course, typical slow start. They're 8 games under 500, 9.5 games out of first place, and they've won 8 of 10. Think how bad it was 10 days ago for Baltimore. So I guess the season is long enough where they can still get back into it. You see the Boston score there over Texas. Baltimore still has talent, but they're going to have to play good. They really can't expect any more slumps the rest of the season. They've had their slump.
And during that 8-2 stretch, you mentioned they won 7 in a row, including that 22-1 victory over the Braves, in which Cal Ripken went 6 for 6. The 1-1 to Orlando Palmeiro, and he fouls it off. Now 1-2. Palmeiro walked leading off the game and was stranded. Top of the order for the Angels here in the third. Palmeiro, Velarde, and then Mo Vaughn. The 1-2 from Irabu. Ground ball to Knobloch. 11 errors for Chuck, and he throws out Palmeiro. Well, watch FX for more Major League Baseball next Saturday night as Mark McGwire leads the Cardinals into the Valley of the Sun to battle Matt Williams, Luis Gonzalez, and the Diamondbacks. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks next Saturday starting at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on FX. How about those Arizona Diamondbacks? First place in the NL West.
Playing very well as a club.
Randy Velarde struck out his first time up. Takes ball 1 from Irabu. Mark McGwire hit number 20 against the Mets this afternoon. First inning off Jason Isringhausen.
It's only a question of how often he hits them. I don't think he's going to have the kind of year he did last year, and I think people are going to say, well, geez, he didn't have as good a year, but he's still going to have. I still think he's going to hit 50, don't you?
I think so too.
50 is a pretty prodigious number.
Yet some people will say, hey, why only 50?
Maybe the pitchers got a little smarter. Maybe they exposed a little weakness.
Heading into the game today, McGuire had 19 home runs last year through the same number of games, through 66 games. He had 31. Strike call, 3-1 on Velarde. You and I were in St. Louis last September when Mark hit numbers 67 and 68 against the Expos.
And everywhere that St. Louis went last year, it was a sellout. I don't care if a team was in or out of the race.
Velarde lifts this one into left center, and the running catch is made by Bernie Williams, 2 away. Velarde now 0 for 2.
I remember doing a game late last season in Milwaukee. They sold out all 3 games, and as you're driving into the ballpark, all you saw was St. Louis jerseys. Center fielder has the call here. Look at the left fielder get out of the way. Spencer gets out of the way for Bernie.
Bernie Williams, another Gold Glove last year. Only 8 errors over the last 3 seasons. Move on. A single in the first. Mo with 40 home runs last year with the Boston Red Sox. All 5 of the listed players switched teams here in 1999. And Jose Canseco, of course, leading the majors with 26. Mark McGuire's former Bash brother with the Oakland A's.
When I think of Canseco, Canseco, is going to hit 500 home runs. Is he a Hall of Famer?
I would think if he reaches 500.
500 is like the ticket, isn't it? But is he a Hall of Famer as a DH? That's a big question.
Vaughn into left. Spencer, who put up Hall of Fame numbers last September for the Yankees. A 1-2-3 third for Hideki Irabu. Top of the order, due up for the Yanks. Joe Torre, Yankee manager, on the left. Smooth sailing for the Yanks. Terry Collins, not so smooth. Extra gray hair, as you mentioned.
Terry's very fiery, not afraid to talk to the players. Joe, I think, a lot more low-key. Different managers all have different styles. Players have to adapt to their manager.
Joe, a former Angels broadcaster, worked with our producer tonight, Jim Drake.
And I took his job when he went to manage the Yankees. But I was very happy he took that job. I take that back. He went to manage the Cardinals first,
where he managed Omar Oliveros, the Angels pitcher tonight. 0-1 on Knobloch, who flies to center his first time up. Strike called, 0-2.
And I think that Joe Torre learned a lot up here watching the game. He didn't spend a whole lot of time on the field because a lot of people would have thought he's looking for a job, and that's not the way Joe Torre is. Joe's a terrific gentleman. And I think he learned a lot watching, talking to people, and I think it really has an effect on how he does the game now.
Here's the shortstop, Houston. 1 out. So now Bernie Williams will step in against Omar Oliveros. Bernie called out on strikes in the first inning. He is only 1 for his last 14. Last year's batting champion, as was pointed out by the president, Bill Clinton, when the Yankees visited the White House last week.
He was well briefed, wasn't he?
He certainly was. I think the best story that came out of the Yankees trip to the White House, when the Yankees were introduced to the president one by one. Hail to the Chief was then played as the president entered the room, and President Clinton reportedly turned to George Steinbrenner and said, "George, they're not playing that for you."
I would think it would be great to go to the White House, get the grand tour. I think that would be special.
Yankees took the tour, presented the Clintons with Yankee jersey, a World Series pendant,
Yankee jersey might come in handy soon.
And Bernie hits this one to deep right field off the top of the wall. Extra bases. A two-base hit for Bernie Williams, who had been one for his previous 14, his 10th double of the year.
I think Bernie thought this ball was going out of the ballpark. Solid line drive. Todd Green in right field looks for it off the top of the wall. It's picked up the paper around first base right there. Is it gone? Nope. Oh, I guess not. That's full speed. And who did Bernie win the batting title from last year on the last day of the season?
Was it the Angels DH?
Mo Vaughn.
One out, runner on second for Jeter, who reached on an error in the first inning. Inside, ball one. The only parents in America who can walk into a newsstand this week and point out their son on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
The old Sports Illustrated jinx, huh?
Hasn't hit yet.
Hasn't come out yet, has it?
It has.
Oh, it is out.
My mail's quicker than yours. Dr. Charles Jeter, along with Dorothy Jeter. Cover of GQ, cover of New York Magazine, cover of Sports Illustrated. Two proud parents. In from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Wonder if they got their free umbrellas. It's umbrella night.
Looks
There
like
at Yankee Stadium.
Looks like he got a free shirt.
Hope they don't have to use them. What is going through Dr. Charles Jeter's mind with his son at the plate?
Why is my son only hitting 375? He should be hitting 400. Why isn't he leading the league? That's what my father would have said.
That's because he had a son who almost nearly hit 400.
Exactly. Why didn't you hit 5 more hits? All it was going to take was 5 more hits, and you couldn't do it.
Wouldn't want to bring a report card home to your parents.
Yeah, Dad, I hit 390. You could have hit 400. No, George did not want to bring the homework home. No mistake about that.
Dog ate the homework.
Yeah.
Lifted into left center. It falls in front of Palmeiro. Base hit for Jeter. Williams rounding third. Hitting home. Yankees lead 2-0. RBI number 48 for the son of Dr. Charles and Dorothy Jeter.
It's not the first time he's clapped when his son got the big hit right there. This is just a little blooper into left center field by Derek Jeter. Gets an RBI. He's 48th of the season. That ball right off the end of the bat. Now watch what Orlando Palmeiro does. He's trying to make the throw at the plate. Where's the ball go? Right over everybody's head. And when he makes the bad throw like that, Jeter goes from first to second base. Little mental error right there. Get away, son.
Dad's clapping. Mom looks surprised. Now she claps. A single for Jeter. He went to second on the throw. Yankees now lead 2-0. Here's Tino Martinez, who grounded out to second his first time up. An RBI single by Posada in the second. An RBI single off the bat of Jeter here in the third inning. Nice block by the catcher, Walbeck. So the Yankees have already scored 2 more runs off Olivares than they did the last time they faced Omar. Back in May when he shut them down on only 5 hits and 6 2/3. It was a strange game. He did not strike out anybody in that game, and he walked 6. Yet no Yankees scored. Inside now 3-0 to Martinez in his 4th year with the Yankees. Check out the company he's in as far as most RBIs over his first 500 games in pinstripes.
Joe DiMaggio, of course, Babe Ruth. 2 names that I think anybody who knows anything about baseball will recognize.
Tino walks on 4 pitches. And that will lead to a conference on the mound. First walk issued by Olivares. Yankees with runners on first and second with only 1 out.
You know, it almost looked like he was pitching around Tino Martinez right there. And it's not like he's getting a right-handed hitter up now. He's getting Paul O'Neill, who's a great hitter. But if anything, it did set up a potential double play right here. And that's pretty much the look you get from Joe Torre all the time. I mean, Joe doesn't get fired up. And we're not talking about somebody who got fired up last year. Last year his team was great. He didn't get fired up a whole lot. So we all know that Joe had some surgery this year. He's come back from it very well. This is the way he always is as a manager. Terry, a little more vocal, a little more into the game. Not that Joe's not, but visibly more into the game.
Paul O'Neill takes a strike. O'Neill reached on an error. The dropped fly ball to center by Anderson came around to score the Yankees' first run. 9 for his last 24. Runners on first and second, 1 out. 1-1. Yankees already have 1 run in here in the 3rd inning on 2 hits. Two for 3 with runners in scoring position. Well inside, 2-1. Paul O'Neill in the Yankee lineup shuffle, moving from 3rd down to the number 5 spot. Oh, nice play by Erstad. Goes to second for 1. O'Neill safe at first. So the Angels get the out at second. And they prevent a run from scoring. Yankees now with runners on the corners with 2 out.
You see O'Neill not happy right there, but I tell you what, he hit that ball very, very hard. Let's take a look at the pitch sequence. Fastball low and away. He did not like that call. Fastball outside. Now he's going to come inside off the plate, and here's the pitch that he hits. Take that back. Another pitch inside to make the pitch 2-2.
And there is the result.
But the last pitch he hit that ball very hard. It was a very strong play on the part of Erstad. Look at him, he's still mad. He has a temper.
I think Paul O'Neill smiled when the Yankees won the World Series.
First time all year. And very friendly guy, very nice guy. He's hit 306 years in a row for this club. He has high expectations.
Just ask any number of water coolers around the American League.
Light bulbs, water coolers.
2-0 now on Chili Davis, who grounded out his first time up. 2 outs. Yankees with runners on first and third. Jeter on at third. And O'Neill over at first.
You notice he hasn't said a word to Erstad. He's still mad at Erstad for making that play.
Might never say anything to Darren. (2-0) inside now. 3 balls, no strikes.
So a bad one here loads him up for the Yankees. And I don't think he's going to give Chili a whole lot to hit right here. Chili's one of those hitters that's got a great eye up at the plate. The question is, does he have the green light right here?
Posada waiting on deck. Here's the 3-0. And this is a fair ball into the left field corner. Jeter scores. O'Neill holds at third. A 2-out RBI double for Chili Davis on a 3-0 pitch. And the Yankees lead is now 3-0. RBI number 43 for the former Angel.
The nice thing about this swing from Chili Davis is, look, he doesn't try to do too much with the pitch. He just goes with it. They look for a fastball away just to throw a strike, and he made him pay for it.
Chili had been 1 for his last 11. He sat out 6 games in a row 2 weeks ago during interleague play. No DH in the National League ballparks. Yankees played in Miami and Philadelphia, now getting back into the swing of things. 2 outs, second and third for Posada, who singled in a run in the second inning. Yankees lead is now 3-0. Interesting day on Thursday for Posada. He's been struggling at the plate, batting only .204. He's had problems behind the plate, 10 pass balls, 3 more than he committed last year. Yankees sent him to an eye specialist up in Connecticut. Jorge said prior to the appointment everything's fine, and it was. No problems with the eyes. Posada flies out to left to end the third inning. And the Yankees strand 2, but they score 2 and now lead 3-0. Collins Angels have been held to 4 runs or less in 21 of their last 23 games. They will need at least 4 to win today.
And of course, in this, the year of offense in the American League, as good a pitching and as good a defensive they have had up to this point, not scoring any runs like that, they are just in a losing streak. 1.8 the last 10 games. Not going to win many games.
Batting only .198 on this road trip so far. This game 5. They're 0-4. Swept in Toronto, losing last night 4-1. Following this series, their next 15 games will be against their 3 Western Division rivals. And this one is drilled to left field. Todd Green way back. It is out of here. So the Angels pick up their first run of the game, chipping away. It's now 3-1. Home run number 11 for Green.
Angels got their only run last night on a home run from Troy Glaus. Where's the 1-0 pitch? He wants it right down the old chute, and that's where he got it. Right down the chute, 86 miles an hour, middle of the plate.
Team leading 11th home run allowed by Arabu. Strike 1 to Garrett Anderson. Career high 11 for Todd Green, accepting the congratulatory high fives in the Angels dugout. Green hit only 1 last year, played only 29 games in an injury-plagued season. Rod Carew among those over to congratulate Todd Green. Strike called, now 1-2 on Garrett Anderson, whose error back in the second inning led to the Yankees' first run. He dropped the O'Neill fly ball in the dirt. 2-2.
That's a low average for Garrett Anderson. The home runs are up this year. Normally he's not a big home run hitter, just a spray hitter, lots of singles, lots of doubles. This year more home runs, but lately really slumping.
More singles than anybody else in the American League 2 years ago. Bounce to Knobloch, moving to his left. 1 out. Well, we've spoken about the Angels' offensive woes. They are last in the American League in runs per game, on base percentage, second to last in extra base hits, in batting average, coming in at .255. They're also last in on base percentage, last in doubles, last in triples, last in runs batted in, last in steals, last in the division.
They're a base-to-base team with no speed, and they're not swinging the bats, and that makes that man's job very, very difficult.
Troy Glaus with 1 out takes ball 1. He homered in the 8th inning last night, fly to center in the second tonight. Texas lost to the Red Sox, so the Angels now 9.5 out. And as I mentioned, their next 15 games will be against those 3 teams, Oakland, Texas, and Seattle, a chance to either pick up ground or fall way back.
And of course, there's some teams in the American League West that can hit the ball pretty good. You think about Texas, you think about Seattle. I mean, those teams can get it after you offensively. Of course, they're going to give up some runs, but the Angels need to start swinging the bats a little better if they're going to compete with those guys.
And should the Angels fall even farther back, the question beckons, what do you do about Chuck Finley?
I trade him. You know, I think Chuck is one of those guys that may not be real happy with the manager of this team. And I'm just saying, here's a guy in the last year of his contract. He's 35, 36 years old. You can get something for him. There are people who would give up, I think, a lot of prospects for a Chuck Finley. And if he's not going to come back, if you decide to hire the manager, don't wait for the deadline. Get something for him sooner as opposed to later. And I have tremendous respect for him as a player, by the way.
Fly ball shallow right. O'Neill moving to his left. 2 out. Kloss now 0 for 2. 10 Angels on the disabled list. 6 position players, 4 pitchers, including Gary DeSarcina, fluke injury. George Hendrick, Angel coach, on the right back in February, breaks DeSarcina's wrist. And this is Tim Salmon, who also broke his wrist. 2 of the Angels' young stars. Jim Edmonds also on the DL. Justin Bachman, Charlie O'Brien, Jack McDowell.
You're talking about a lot of people where up the middle. Bachman, second base. DeSarcina, the shortstop. Edmonds, the center fielder. Charlie O'Brien, probably the best catcher they have. They've lost a lot of strength defensively up the middle where you really want to be strong defensively.
And Mo Vaughn missed some time back in April.
And they're saying Mo Vaughn's probably going to DH the rest of the year, which of course makes Darren Erstad the first baseman when he would probably be better off playing the outfield, putting Garrett Anderson not in center but in left where he's normally going to play, and you've got more speed in center. So the whole injury thing has come back to hurt the Angels offensively and defensively.
Poke to Brocious at third, and that will do it for the Angels in the 4th, but they are on the scoreboard thanks to number 11 off the bat of Todd Green. Welcome back to FX Baseball Saturday night. No, we are not at the World Trade Center. There we are, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Yankees 3 and the Angels 1. Kenny Albert with Ken Brett, a pair of Kennys or Kens or Kenneths. Omar Olivares on the mound for the Angels, and Ken in his last start against the Diamondbacks, he was opposed by another Omar Dahl, in what was reportedly, according to Ed Price of the Mesa Tribune, the first time in Major League history 2 Omars faced each other.
Boy, I wish I would have got an autograph ball from those 2 guys. Would that be worth something or what?
In fact, to take it one step further, as Olivares deals to Shane Spencer, the 1-1 is fouled off, now 1-2.
It's too bad Omar Moreno wasn't playing center field.
You took it right out of my mouth. The other 3 Omars who have played in the majors: Omar Moreno, Omar Vizquel of the Indians, and a relief pitcher in the 50s named Omar Lawn, L-O-W-N. So there have been 5 Omars in the history of Major League Baseball. Olivares and Dahl faced each other as the opposing pitchers on Sunday. Some people just have too much time on their hands.
Baseball keeps too good a record.
Yes. Here's the 1-2, and Olivares strikes out Shane Spencer, who sits down 0 for 2. And that is strikeout number 2 for Olivares. Well, this Thursday on Fox Sports Net, Baseball Thursday, some of you will see the Boston Red Sox and the Baltimore Orioles from Camden Yards. Others will watch Mark McGwire and the St. Louis Cardinals as they take on the Arizona Diamondbacks and perhaps Omar Dahl.
Maybe Omar Dahl.
That's this Thursday, Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Scott Brocious 0 for 1, bounce back to Omar Olivares in the 2nd inning. And the Red Sox trailing the Yankees by 1 game in the American League East. Boston among the league leaders in Many offensive and pitching categories. First in earned run average. Base hit center field. Brocious breaks out of an 0 for 9 slump.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons the Red Sox have played so well this year is the pitching has been good. They've had some surprises in their pitching staff. Now, granted, they just lost their closer, and that's going to hurt them unless they can find somebody or have somebody ready to assume that role. But Red Sox have played well. Right now, if the season were to end, the Red Sox would be the wild card team.
Pedro Martinez leading the majors in victories with 12. Earned run average of 2.17. Top of the order for the Yankees, Chuck Knobloch, 0 for 2. The average down to 248. 3 for his last 22. Angels 1 run on 2 hits, 2 errors. Yankees 3 runs on 5 base hits. Brocious back in.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about Brocious earlier in the ballgame. In 1997, he hit 203. He comes to the Yankees last year. 19 home runs, 98 RBIs, hits 300. I mean, what a year for him. Was a hero in the World Series this year. 238, 7 home runs, 29 RBIs. So I guess where is the real Scott Brocious?
Probably somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, yeah. And that's the funny thing about baseball. You know, some guys are just great year in and year out. Some guys struggle, have a great year, settle back, have another good year. And the total pitches now from Omar Olivares, 61.
Olivares, a second-generation major leaguer. His father, Ed, a St. Louis Cardinal, back in the early 1960s. He was a teammate of our colleague Tim McCarver with St. Louis. Here's the 1-0 pitch inside to Knobloch, who's been hit a league-leading 12 times this year with pitches.
Knobloch, one of those guys, likes to get close to the plate, likes to go in toward the pitch. And of course, if you're going to pitch a guy inside, and where do you want to miss? You don't want to miss over the middle of the plate. You want to miss off the plate inside. He's going to take a hit. But he has not swung the bat well as a Yankee.
Brocious going, and Knobloch fouls it off.
To me, Knobloch is a line drive, ground ball type of hitter. He's got good speed. He runs the bases well. He can steal a base. He's got to do more of that than try to hit the ball in the air. And of course, this is not the kind of a ballpark where you want to hit the ball in the air.
Brocious the runner on first, 2-1 on Knobloch with 1 out in the Yankee 4th. Brocious goes, and Knobloch fouls another one back.
Of course, 2-1, I think the favorite hit and run count. Pitcher has to throw a strike for the most part, so why not send somebody open up a hole in the infield? Try to make something happen.
Now 2-2 as Knobloch steps back in. Chatting with the home plate umpire Mike Riley. Dale Ford working first base. Mark Johnson out at second. Rich Garcia, the crew chief, is the third base umpire tonight. And the 2-2 pitch, so a nice backhand stop by Wahlbeck, keeping Brocious at first.
That was the kind of a pitch that was so wild he couldn't really get his body in front of it. Had to just go out there and backhand it, and that was a nice catch. Looking for the slider away, and look at that. That was a nice defensive play.
Here's the payoff pitch. Brocious goes. Another foul ball. And one thing we have not yet pointed out with regard to Olivares, we saw the inside pitch to Knobloch earlier in the count. In Omar's last start, he tied an American League record. He hit 4 batters. 4 in one game.
That's a lot.
His teammate Steve Sparks did the same back in May. So 2 Angels have tied the American League record this year. Brocious runs and a base hit into right field. After Knobloch fouled off 3. Chuck picks up his first hit of the night as Brocious, who is running, moves all the way to third.
Watch the inside out swing here. Watch how he keeps his hand inside the ball all the way. Get the hands through the zone. Get the big part of the bat into the strike zone. Nice job of hitting right there. And I tell you what, he saw a lot of pitches right there. Fouled off some good pitches.
Well, I saw earlier Paul O'Neill did not chat with Darren Erstad after he made the nice play, but Knobloch
He'll be talking.
in deep conversation after the base hit. First and third, 1 out. Bernie doubled off the top of the right field wall and came around to score back in the 3rd inning. 1 for 2. Williams comes to the plate with 1 out and 2 men on.
And of course, this is a tough guy to double up. I mean, if you want to double up this guy, you better be looking for a 1-hopper at the second baseman. And that play doesn't work.
Brocious, runner on third for the Yankees. Knobloch over at first.
Well over 300. Don't forget he won the batting title last year.
Now 2-0 as Walbeck heads out for a chat. There is action in the Angels bullpen.
Left-hander is Mike Magnante, right-hander Al Levine.
And here comes the pitching coach, Dick Cole.
Right-hander Levine, left-hander Magnante.
Olivares has pitched into the 7th in 8 of his 12 starts. But running into trouble here tonight. Only 1 out in the 4th inning. He's allowed 3 runs on 6 hits and has not been helped by his fielders. 2 errors committed by the Angels, 1 leading to a Yankee run back in the 2nd.
Yeah, the Yankee run in the 2nd unearned. He really has given up 2 earned runs in this ball game, but he's in danger right here. 1st and 3rd. Now he's behind in the count, 2-0 to Bernie, and you've got the big part of the lineup coming up right here. And don't forget, Chili Davis got the 3-0 green light earlier in the ball game. This guy is swinging if he likes the pitch.
Doesn't like the pitch. Neither does home plate up Mike Riley. 3-0. Willie Randolph, Yankees 3rd base coach, former great second baseman. Chili swung at the 3-0. Let's see what Williams does. Olivares over to first as Knobloch slides back in.
Well, Bernie Williams said that Derek Jeter is the best hitter on this club. Best hitters usually hit 3rd.
Williams held up, ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Second walk issued by Omar Olivares.
So I guess the question is, if the best hitter on your club and perhaps one of the best players in the American League is Derek Jeter, and Bernie just signed a pretty good contract, what's old Derek thinking? Or what is Bernie thinking?
What are
Wow.
Derek's parents thinking? 2 for 6 with the bases loaded this year. No career grand slams. Yankees have 2 Grand Slam home runs in '99. One out, bases loaded. Jeter singled in a run in the third. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up to shallow right. The second baseman Velarde calls off the right fielder Green. And we now have 2 out as the runners hold.
First ball swinging. Watch mom and dad here. Come on, maybe if he goes, we get a double play here. Come on, let's get a run. God, he should be going home.
Was Charles watching a ping pong match? Wondering if Brocious would score from third, in which case not only would Derek pick up an RBI, but would not have an at-bat credited, so his average would not go down on a sacrifice fly.
I wasn't thinking that far ahead.
So now 2 outs, bases loaded. Tino Martinez has a grand slam this year. Brocious on third. Knobloch on second. Bernie Williams, the runner, on first. Martinez 1 for 8 with the bases full. The one was a home run. Not this time. It's Velarde again. And the Yankees strand 3 in the fourth. They still lead the Angels 3-1. Well, Derek Jeter has done many things right this season, but could not get the job done with the bases loaded.
And I tell you what, that could turn out to be a big inning for the Angels in this ball game. The Angels are only down 3-1.
And the Yankees have stranded 7 base runners over the first 4 innings.
And if the Yankees had put a big hit right there together and taken a 5 or 6-1 lead, you could have seen the sails just come apart for the Angels perhaps. They are right in this game. And what they need, they just need to put some people on base, get some big base hits. Sooner or later, the offense has got to turn around for this club.
Only 2 hits for the Angels tonight. Arabu has also walked 2. Matt Wahlbeck fly to left his first time up. Pops it up to the left side. Will Brocious have room? No. 2-1. Wahlbeck, Houston, and Palmeiro for the Angels here in the 5th against Arabu, who's 2-0 in his last 3 starts with an earned run average of 3.57. He won 13 games a year ago, 13-9, 5-4 as a rookie in '97. Now 3-1 to Wahlbeck.
And I'll tell you one thing about Arabu tonight. Normally, here's a guy that doesn't walk many people. I mean, coming into the ball game tonight, 8 walks in 54 innings. And there's another walk right there.
Number 3.
Number 3, and this the 5th inning.
So the Angels have the leadoff man on. The Yankees MVP candidate, Derek Jeter. Who are some of the others in your mind?
How about these guys? Pedro Martinez. I've never been, I was a pitcher in my career. I've never been a big fan of pitchers getting MVPs. I think a pitcher should get the Cy Young and be very, very pleased to get it. I think the MVP is a player.
Wahlbeck on the move. Jeter was headed to second. Instead, makes the play to first. A good throw by Jeter. So the Angels stay out of the double play.
And of course the hit and run put on right there, and it just missed being a great hit and run by Jeff Houston. But good body control right there by Derek Jeter. Got him back. Makes a nice easy play. There goes Wall back at first base. Hit and run is put on. And look at the shortstop. Doesn't try to rush his throw. Gets on top. Gets plenty on it.
1 out for Orlando Palmeiro. 0 for 1 with a walk. And he lays down a bunt. It rolls foul down the third base line. But getting back to Jeter and the possible MVP, the bleacher creatures here at Yankee Stadium during the early innings of every home game chant each player's name, each Yankee in the field. They started this tradition last year, and when they chant the player's name, the player usually turns towards the outfield or tips his cap. And earlier this week, instead of chanting the name Derek Jeter, they chanted MVP. And most of the fans and players knew who they were talking about. And it prompted Joe Torre after the game to react. And Joe, of course, will manage the American League All-Star team in Boston next month. And Joe came out in the media and pleaded with the Yankee fans to stuff the ballot boxes. He said Jeter's lead over Garciaparra is not big enough. He said, I want to write his name in on the lineup card in the All-Star game. And, of course, should Nomar win the vote, the game will be played at his home ballpark of Fenway.
And I would imagine the Red Sox fans are trying to stuff Nomar's name everywhere. They're probably passing him around Kenmore Square as we speak.
Jeter leads by about 15,000 votes.
It's nothing.
Here's the 1-2 to Palmeiro.
How about the good young shortstops in this league? You know, people talk about how great they are, and I think this league has, you know, tremendous shortstops. You've got the guy for the Seattle Mariners, Alex Rodriguez. Boy, he is just tremendous. And you've got the guy in Boston, Garciaparra. You've got Derek Jeter. A lot of people don't talk about a pretty good shortstop. How about Omar Vizquel? God, he is a great player.
Another Omar. Lifted foul off the bat of Orlando Palmeiro. 2-2.
Great young shortstops. Not granted, Omar Vizquel's not a young man anymore, but he could flat out play shortstop. I'll take him defensively over any of the other three, and there's nothing wrong with them defensively.
Here's the 2-2 from Arabu. Another foul. And getting back to the chants from the bleacher creatures, when Tony Tarasco was first called up by the Yankees last month, there's Tony on the Yankee bench. He was the right fielder back in the '96 playoffs for the Orioles. When the ball hit by Jeter to right field was interfered with by a 12-year-old Yankee fan named,
I remember that vividly.
Jeffrey Mayer. And there's Rich Garcia, who's the third base umpire tonight. And he was the umpire in right field who ruled home run. Fly ball to Bernie Williams, 2 out. And when Tarasco made his Yankee debut, instead of chanting his name, first the fans here at Yankee Stadium, and Tarasco was from New York, first they chanted Jeffrey Mayer, and then they chanted Rich Garcia.
Oh, these fans, I tell you, they got some fans in this town.
And Tarasco knew exactly what they were talking about. He went crazy, if you recall, back in October of '96 when it was ruled a home run. And now things come full circle, playing for his hometown team in New York. Tarasco, one of 4 starting left fielders for the Yankees this season. Shane Spencer, Ricky Leday, Chad Curtis. Tarasco had a shot. And Darryl Strawberry, of course, one of the Yankees left fielders last year. The ruling yesterday from Commissioner Bud Selig, his suspension will run through early August, a 120-day ban for Darryl. Line drive left field. Shane Spencer, the Yankees left fielder of choice tonight, makes the catch on Velarde. The Angels strand 1 and still trail the Yankees 3-1. Fact or fiction? Jeter's wife? I would say fiction. Well, here's a fact. Ken, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Paul O'Neill, base hit into center field. This time, he will chat with the first baseman, Darren Erskine, we think.
I doubt it. I doubt it. No, he's chatting a little bit.
O'Neill on base for the 3rd time tonight. It's his first hit, reached on an error and a fielder's choice. So the Yankees have the leadoff man on. They've stranded at least 1 base runner in every inning, 7 in all. They left the bases loaded in the 4th. Chili Davis doubled in a run. His last time up, Chili 1 for 2. The longtime Angel. Enjoying a terrific year with the Yankees, batting .321. He's driven in 43, now .322 with the double today. In his 18th Major League season, 39 years of age. And he credits Rod Carew, the Angels batting coach, for a lot of his recent success. The Yankees just one of 5 teams Chile has played for. Hit 156 home runs as a member of the Angels.
You know, some of the things about Chile's career that kind of stand out, and you're right, he does give a lot of the credit to Rod Carew. First 100 RBIs, 33 years old. First 2 back-to-back seasons when he hits 300, 34, 35 years old. First 30 home run season, 37 years old. And look at the career switch hitting home runs, 3rd on the all-time list. Age has not slowed him down a whole lot. And he says he wants to finish his career here. Loves the players, loves New York.
There was some talk earlier this year that this would be Chile's last year. In fact, he discussed the subject earlier this week. He said he wants to spend some time. His kids are getting older now. His oldest is 14. But he said, well, maybe one more year. We'll see. We'll decide later on.
I was talking about the same thing before the ball game with David Cohn. You know, David's in the last year of his contract. I said, well, where do you want to play? And he said, you know, I like it here. But he said, it's not my decision whether I'm going to play here or not.
David Cohn has turned into the clubhouse leader, the voice of this Yankee team. He was the one player who spoke at the White House. George Steinbrenner went to the podium, Joe Torre, and then David Cohn. Derek Jeter then took the mic from David for a moment. He was introduced by Cohn, but David is the leader of this Yankee team.
He's a veteran pitcher, knows how to pitch. Good fella. Been around a long time. He's pitching here tomorrow afternoon against the Angels.
Played across town with the Mets. He's had 2 stints in his hometown of Kansas City. He was a Blue Jay. 2 world championships with the Yanks. Here's the 2-2. O'Neill goes. Lifted to center. Garrett Anderson does not drop this one. And O'Neill heads back to first. On the American League scoreboard, the Cleveland Indians maintain their hot pace. Win number 44 over Seattle. Boston pulling to within 1 game of the Yankees. Toronto shutting out Kansas City. Oakland all over the Tigers, 13-1. Angels, or I should say the A's, moving up in the American League West. Baltimore leading the White Sox at Comiskey. Devil Rays early lead over the Twins. Jorge Posada 1 for 2 with an RBI. 1 out. O'Neill the runner on first. Yankees leading 3-1. Ken, how about last night in Boston? Mike Morgan of the Texas Rangers making his first start at Fenway in nearly 20 years. The last time Mike started a game at Fenway Park, July of 1979. You know what happened in that game?
I don't know what happened, but I think I saw a shot of it on TV. I believe he was pitching to Mr. Yastrzemski.
Yes, and Yaz hit his 400th career home run off Morgan.
Morgan came to the big leagues virtually almost a teenager. Yeah, he's a teenager.
And nearly 1 month shy of 20 years later, he makes another start at Fenway. Drilled to center. Anderson, 2 out. And it was Morgan's first career win against the Red Sox. The only teams he had not beaten in his career were Boston and the 2 expansion teams, Tampa Bay and Arizona.
You'd think as long as he was around, he would have beaten 1 team that many times. But I'm surprised it took him so long to go from the first start to this start. That would have surprised me.
You were still playing back in '79.
Yes, I was.
Who were you with that year?
I'm trying to think now. Yeah, I think I bounced around late in my career.
2 games with the Yankees.
'79, I was still with the Angels, I think.
Shane Spencer fouls one back. As we mentioned earlier, Spencer now getting another opportunity. Ricky Leday was the Yankees' opening day starter in left. He is now in AAA. Spencer, the hero last September.
Boy, he's completely fallen apart since then. I mean, last year Spencer was a hero in this town. 27 games, 27 RBIs, and this year you look at his numbers, he's down in the low 200s. In fact, right now at 203, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. And I know that he's a dear fastball. He loves to hit that fastball, but the other stuff I think has been giving him a lot of problems, as it would as you go around the league and the word gets out.
They are now calling Mets outfielder Benny Agbayani the Shane Spencer of 1999. Agbayani with 10 home runs in limited playing time. He was recalled May 12th by the New York Mets. In fact, one local reporter referred to them as Benny Spencer and Shane Agbayani.
Only in New York can that happen.
Yes. 1-2. Spencer, the only Yankee who has not reached base tonight. He struck out in the 4th and is 1 strike away from doing the same here in the 5th.
Well, it's like one of those famous utility player lines. You know, if one of the regulars gets hurt, the utility player goes in the lineup and he starts doing real well. And he says to the manager, bench me or trade me. They're starting to find my weaknesses out.
And Spencer strikes out for the 2nd time. 3rd strikeout for Olivares. Yankees strand their 8th base runner of the game, still ahead by 2. Hideki Irabu has allowed only 2 base hits over the first 5 innings, including the Todd Green home run. And Irabu will face Mo Vaughn, Green, and Garrett Anderson here in the 6th. Vaughn will lead things off. He's 1 for 2 tonight. 2 career home runs off for Irabu, including one on May 13th in the Angels' 2-0 victory.
Now notice Mo Vaughn when he gets in the lineup here in the batter's box. He's in the strike zone. You watch the upper part of his body. He's in the strike zone. And look at the protection he wears on his right arm. He knows they're going to pitch him in there, and it just protects him from getting hurt. Look at that protection.
I worked the Mets-Cardinals game with Jeff Torborg on Fox Sports Net Baseball this past Thursday. And Jeff pointed out Ricky Henderson and Mo Vaughn are the only 2 guys in the majors who stand in and await the pitch. And we'll get back to that in a minute as Vaughn drills this one to deep center, and the catch is made on a warning track by Bernie Williams. Ricky Henderson, Mo Vaughn, the only 2 guys whose eyes are not level. They stand with their head tilted when they bat.
Like he pulled the string right there and got him just a little bit out in front.
6th put out of the game for Bernie Williams. Well, the last hit Irabu allowed was the home run back in the 4th inning off the bat of Todd Green, who steps in here with 1 out in the 6th. And Green takes a strike. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Well hit. Deep center field. Bernie Williams again put out number 7.
Well, it's pretty deep out there in center field. 408. 399 to left center. And I tell you what, that's a good place to let him hit it. 85 pitches now, 50 strikes, 35 balls. He has walked 3.
And 11 of the 17 outs recorded by Irabu have been fly ball outs.
Good ballpark for the fly ball right here.
7 of the 11 to center field. Here's Garrett Anderson, who has grounded out twice. 0-1.
Garrett swinging at a real bad pitch right there. And, you know, he says he's swinging the bat pretty well. The Angels say he's in denial, and that's not a good first ball swing right there.
Nor a good second ball swing.
And a lot of times when you struggle, you just get so anxious up at the plate to swing at anything. Let's see what he does here. Does he try to waste a pitch?
One and 2. Base hit left field. Anderson heading for second. So Garrett Anderson in with a double. A 2-out double to left.
That's the first solid base hit that he has had since June the 7th. He had an infield single last night, a little swinging bunt between the pitcher and the first baseman. And I'm sure when you're 0 for 30, you will take the swinging bunt. Yes. But this is a legitimate base hit. Now watch how he just goes out and gets it. That pitch is well out of the strike zone. But they're playing him to pull, and there's no way that Brocious is going to get to that ball. And he shows pretty good speed right here, as if, hey, this is fun again.
Lifted to center, off the bat of Gloss. Another put out for Bernie Williams, his third of the inning. So the Angels strand a runner on second. 5.5 complete from the Bronx. Yankees leading the Angels 3-1 as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Kenny Albert, Ken Brett from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Second of a 3-game series as Scott Brocious swings at strike 1 from Omar Olivares. Brocious 1 for 2 tonight. Singled his last time up. Yankees 3 runs on 7 hits. They've stranded 8 base runners, at least 1 each inning. They left 2 on in the 3rd. They had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 4th, but both Jeter and Tito Martinez popped out. Now 2-1 on Brocious. He'll be followed by Chuck Knobloch and then Bernie Williams. Foul back, 2-2.
You know, we had talked about Brocious, 97, did not have a great year last year. Great year, and look at the World Series things. MVP, 400 in the division, 300 in the champions, and 471, 2 home runs in the series. Boy, he had a great year.
And there's another base hit into left field. So Brocious breaking out of an 0 for 9 with 2 consecutive singles. Well, Ken, tomorrow it's Major Movie Sunday on FX. First, it's Deborah Wenger and Black Widow. Then have dessert with Kim Basinger and Mickey Rourke in the steamy 9.5 weeks. That's Major Movie Sunday tomorrow starting at 6, only on FX. Kim Basinger quoted,
oh boy.
Kim Basinger quoted in the Sports Illustrated article talking about Derek Jeter.
Really?
Kim, a big fan of Derek, as are most New Yorkers. I would assume it is her first time in Sports Illustrated. Yankees have the leadoff man on once again.
So what you're saying is that girl we saw earlier with the Jeter's wife is probably not going to get. She doesn't have much of a shot, does she?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
You?
Highly unlikely.
In fact, in the Sports Illustrated article, the screening process that potential girlfriends must go through is written about. Derek's younger sister is involved. A college student down in Atlanta involved in the screening process.
And the people that are trying to fix him up are a mile long. Have I got a girl for you?
Very tough standards. 1 ball, no strikes. Knobloch bunts it foul.
Notice the umpire saying the ball hit the bat twice, but it was in the batter's box. Everything's okay. Nice girl, Yankee fan, highly unlikely.
Her arms must be getting tired. Jeter still refers to his manager as Mr. Torre. Derek Jeter will turn all of 25 years of age 1 week from tonight.
And in about 2 years from now, they'll be calling him Mr. Owner. He'll be owning the team. They'll be calling him Mr. Jeter.
1-1 on Knobloch, nobody out. Base hit center field. Second consecutive hit for Knobloch. And the Yankees with runners on first and second with nobody out. And Mike Magnante is up again in the Angels bullpen.
Let's watch the series of pitches here. Fastball up, 81 miles an hour. Then they go down and away. Inside half of the plate, and he did not have a good swing at that last pitch. Really fought it off on an inside-out swing, and that is the second time in this ball game that Knobloch has had that inside-out swing and got himself a base hit. Chuck, when he's swinging the bat very well, is an outstanding hitter. I mean, he's an outstanding hitter. He just hasn't swung the bat, I think, all that well since he's been on the Yankees. At a .299 last time, but .250 this year, even though he's 2 for 4. Now watch him fight this ball off. I mean, that ball's right off the fist. And he just stays inside it, fights it off, gets himself a base hit.
Pitching coach Dick Pohl heads back to the dugout following his chat with Olivares. First and second, no one out. Bernie Williams, 1 for 2. Also walked and scored a run.
And I don't know if Olivares is going to escape this time. The last time he was up with the bases loaded, or he had the bases loaded, he escaped the big jam. And the Angels still in this ball game at 3-1. Now with first and second and nobody out, he's facing those same guys again, Williams, Jeter, and Martinez.
One ball, no strikes. Grotius on second, Knobloch on at first. And Williams fouls it off. Back behind third base, 1-1. It's been a busy night for Bernie on the defensive end. 8 putouts tonight over the first 6 innings. With Hideki Irabu on the mound for the Yankees. Irabu's allowed 1 run on 3 hits through 6. And the 1-1 from Olivares, now 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Derek Jeter waiting on deck.
Yeah, he's a guy that I really don't know, but they say he's a heck of a guy. You know, he seems friendly, always seems to have a good time. Nothing seems to bother him too much. You know, 25, playing for the Yankees, front page, cover boy.
Chatting with the fans.
Yeah, life is good.
Olivares strikes out Williams. Nope, Bernie got a piece of it. Jeter says the only thing that bothers him in New York, the traffic.
Oh, he ought to get a driver.
Still traffic.
Just a coach car. He could read. You could read in the back, catch up on his reading, make some phone calls. We got to talk to this kid. I know you have a driver.
Myself.
Yeah.
Self-service. Base hit right field off the glove of the diving Velarde. Grotius scores. Knobloch holds it third. And the Yankees lead is now 4-1. RBI number 41 for Bernie Williams.
Yankees just keep coming after you. They get an opportunity the second time around. They are not going to let it pass. Terry Collins is going to go to the mound, and that is going to be it. And I tell you what, Velarde almost makes a great play here. But once the ball goes off his glove, it changes direction. Bernie turns it into, from a single into a double, gets an RBI. Now runners on second and third, still nobody out.
And that will be all for Omar Olivares. He pitches into the 6th, allows 10 hits, 4 runs so far, potentially 6. Olivares responsible for Knobloch and Williams. Mike Magnanti, the 33-year-old left-hander, will be the new Angels pitcher. Omar Olivares is done for the evening with nobody out in the 5th. 1 run in, 2 men on for the Yankees. Olivares did escape a 4th inning jam. He loaded the bases with 1 out.
Derek Jeter, first ball swinging, pops up to shallow right field. Then he gets Tino on a fly ball to end the inning. and he escaped a big jam there. Kept the Angels in the ball game for another 2 innings, but now the Angels in a little bit of trouble. They're down 4 to run. Runners on second and third, nobody out. ERA 5.76. Opponent's batting average 3.24. That is a high number. 33 hits in 25 innings, and Magnanti has been struggling of late. He has allowed 12 of the last 15 inherited runners to score. He's got 2 on base right now.
Second and third, Derek Jeter swings at the first pitch to deep center field, and the catch is made by Anderson. Run scores, sacrifice fly for Derek Jeter as Chuck Knobloch crosses the plate. It is now 5-1 New York. Second RBI of the game, 49th of the season for Jeter.
So once again, Derek Jeter, first ball swinging, and that run is charged. Omar Olivares. Runner on third belongs to Olivares as well, with 1 out now.
Bernie Williams with third base coach Willie Randolph as Tino Martinez steps in. Tino 0 for 2 with a walk. As you saw, popped out with the bases loaded to end the 4th. And the curveball misses, ball 1. Infield in for the Angels. Looking to prevent Bernie Williams from coming home. Strike called, 1-1.
No, Magnanti's the kind of a pitcher. He's got that funky delivery out there. He can be tough on left-handers.
Here's the 1-1 from Magnanti inside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Take a look at the hot zone for Tino Martinez. Does not like the ball down. I'm surprised when we get these hot zones. Left-handers normally love the ball down. He likes the ball up a little more.
Martinez to left. Palmeiro. Williams started, then thought better of it. 2 out.
Here's the pitch-by-pitch from Magnanti. Little break ball inside. Fastball outside corner for a strike. Fastball well off the plate inside. And then he gets him once again inside. Little looper to left field. Now, Palmeiro does not have a good arm in left field. And Bernie at third base. I'm surprised Bernie didn't try to go on that.
So with 2 outs, here's Paul O'Neill, who singled his last time up. Also reached on an error and a fielder's choice. Fouls the first pitch back. 0-1. Yankees 2 runs this inning on 3 hits. They have a runner on third, Bernie Williams. And they've knocked out Omar Olivares. Leading the Angels 5-1. They won 4-1 last night. In the dirt, 1-1. Paul fouls another one back. 1-2. Paul O'Neill, a 5-time All-Star, as you mentioned earlier. He's been 300 or better each of his 6 years with the Yankees.
Well, don't forget the season's not quite halfway over. You know, if this was a race and we're running a mile, we're, just starting the second lap or the third lap. I mean, we got a long ways to go. This is the kind of a hitter, once he gets hot, he's easily a 300 hitter if he just heats it up a little bit. And that's the way he swings the bat. I think all the Yankees this year swinging the bat not quite as well as last year, but they're still 11 games over 500. They're still in first place.
Yankees' big challenge will come in October. They will obviously not win as many games as they did a year ago. And the Cleveland Indians loom
And I think one of the big things you have to consider if you're an Indians fan, and probably equally so if you're a Yankee fan, are they going to go out and get that #1 starter? Which is the one thing that they've really been lacking in the playoffs. Can they go out and get themselves a stud to get them into the playoffs and who can pitch 2 solid games and get them a World Series win?
Now 2-2 on O'Neill. We spoke earlier with Joe Torre about the Cleveland Indians and the American League, and we'll hear from Joe in just a short while. Yankees knocked out by the Indians in the '97 playoffs. Indians went on to lose a Game 7 to the Florida Marlins in the World Series. The 2-2 from Magnanti. Ground ball to the shortstop Houston. And that will do it for the Yankees in the 6th. But they score 2 more runs and outlead the Angels 5-1. Ball Saturday on FX is brought to you by 10-10-220. Dial it and talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents. You get the next 20 minutes of Ken Brett for free.
Well, not totally for free. Might want a hot dog before it's over.
Well, the cable bill is already paid. Yankees leading at 5-1.
And the Angels continuing to have problems scoring runs.
Darren Erstad takes ball 1. Angels only 1 run on 3 hits over the first 4 games of this road trip. Anaheim hit 198, averaging only 6 hits per game. Now 1-1. Erstad walked in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th, also stole a base. Bottom of the order for the Angels here in the 7th against Hideki Irabu, Erstad, Walbeck, and Houston. Now 2-1 on Erstad, leading off the Angels' 7th. Irabu pitching very well for his 4th consecutive start. Towering pop-up, shallow right. Knobloch is there, so is O'Neill, and they drop it. Knobloch dropped the ball. Erstad safe at 2nd. Knobloch hearing the boos from the crowd as he commits his 12th error of the season.
This is the ball the right fielder should be calling. I think Knobloch is calling this ball all the way. And, you know, it's not a hard catch for Chalk Knobloch. That's an easy catch, but standing right behind him is Paul O'Neill, and that's a lot easier catch for the outfielder to make.
O'Neill coming in, Knobloch backing up.
I got it. He looked for O'Neill. O'Neill was right behind him. O'Neill's got to call him off right there.
Ground ball to the right side. Martinez takes it himself. Walbeck retired. Erstad moves over to 3rd.
Well, that's the right kind of an out in that situation. But now we're in the 7th inning, and outs start to become a little more pressures for the Angels. Now, granted, they have a runner on 3rd with 1 out, but they are down 5-1.
Erstad, the runner on 3rd. He reached 3rd back in the 2nd inning with 1 out. But the next 2 Angels flied out. Here's Houston, who's 0 for 2. Jeff Houston, the shortstop, he started at 5 different positions for the Angels this year, all 4 infield positions plus left field. Angels with runners in scoring position tonight. 0 for 8. And remember, Irabu held the Rangers on Monday to 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 15 over his last 2 starts.
I mean, if you're going to pitch good, you better pitch good with runners in scoring position, because there's going to be people on base.
Left-hander Mike Stanton is up in the Yankee pen. Here's Knobloch. Makes the play. The run scores. And the sarcastic cheers for the Yankee second baseman.
Well, of course, at this stage in the ballgame, the Yankees will trade a run for an out. 2 outs now, nobody on, as we watch Stanton getting ready. Because the Yankees, especially strong late in the ballgame. Good bullpen. Stanton, setup man. And, of course, they have their big guy, Mariano Rivera.
Here's Orlando Palmeiro, who's 0 for 2. Good bullpen, good starters. Yankee starters lead the American League in wins. Yankees second overall in earned run average. 3 Yankee starters have won at least 6 games, as Arabu has just thrown his 100th pitch. David Cone and El Duque, Orlando Hernandez with 7 wins apiece. Roger Clemens 6-2. Andy Pettitte winning last night, and Arabu looking to make it 4-3 tonight.
Yeah, one thing the Yankees can do, because they have 5 solid starting pitchers.
Really 5.5 if you include Ramiro Mendoza, who's in the bullpen now, but did a good job earlier this season when Arabu was in the pen.
Yeah, one of the things that starting pitching gives the Yankees is a chance to win every time they run one of those guys out there. And they, you know, the Yankees' longest losing streak this year is 5 ball games, which I think surprised a lot of people. But they can win anytime one of those guys takes the hill, as long as they continue to play good baseball. And right now the Yankees starting to play a little better.
Fly ball center field. Bernie. 7th inning stretch time in the Bronx. Angels score a run, now trail by 3. Back at Yankee Stadium, Yankees leading 5-2. We spoke earlier with Joe Torre about the Cleveland Indians and the rest of the American League.
I think Cleveland's the best club right now. I mean, they seem to have improved themselves. They've always had a good offensive club. I think their pitching's better, but we won't hopefully have to worry about that till postseason. Boston, they've been beat up a little bit. They lost their closer. They've been playing very well, and they have some good pitching that you really hadn't heard about before this year.
Hey, where do you think I got that information? You think I knew that? Joe told me that information.
Very nice.
Red Sox have played well this year.
Chili Davis leading off the Yankees 7th. Erstad with the flip to Magnanti. 1 away. Well, let's see, your place, Joe Torre, in the Angels broadcast booth. Any plans on managing the Yankees whenever Joe's finished?
I've had a couple of calls, to be honest with you, but they're for independent teams in the New England area. You know, pay is low, the travel is poor, the equipment is bad.
George hasn't called?
George hasn't bought a team yet, so I can do whatever I want. You know, if George would buy, I thought you were talking about my brother George.
No, I know he's called.
No, I like doing what I'm doing right now. Like it a lot. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for Joe Torre. He was a great TV announcer. I think he's a great manager.
Speaking of brother George, who will join Fox on the broadcast side once again later this summer. Congratulations on his ensuing induction.
Yeah, it's going to be a big weekend in Cooperstown. Whole family will be there.
Nolan Ryan, Robin Yount as well. Jorge Posada 1 for 3 with an RBI. We mentioned earlier Posada visited an eye specialist just a couple of days ago. Yankees looking to find the problem.
You would think they could find an eye specialist on the island of Manhattan. Where'd they send him?
Sent him all the way to Connecticut. In fact, they've sent some other players over the last few years as Posada is thrown out by Gloss, including Bernie Williams and Wade Boggs. And Posada said following the meeting, or following the examination, he said the doctor was funny. He told me after Boggs was there, his average went up 80 points. And Jorge said if I knew that, I would have gone on April 1st. It has reached the field.
American League Central, you have one team that dominates and the rest of the teams trying to battle it out. Kansas City at one time was 3 games over 500. Now they're 11 games under 500. Chicago, I think, has had a pretty good year. They've got some good young players on that club. They say Detroit's getting ready to pull the switch on a big trade, get rid of about 4 or 5 guys.
Do you see the Indians as the favorites?
Yes, I do. I agree with Joe Torre in that respect. I still think they need a dominant starter. They've talked about Schilling, and you know there will be some names I think that will come up before the trading deadline.
Of course, by calling Cleveland the favorites, that takes some of the pressure off his own ball club.
As a good manager will always do. I don't think I would expect Joe to say, oh, we're a whole lot better than them, because it'll be in the locker room the next day.
Indians, like the Angels, have lost a number of key players due to injuries, but it has not mattered. And Spencer fouls one back, 1-2.
Is that a question of the division? I think they play in a division, probably the weakest of all divisions, the Central.
And the other players have certainly picked it up. Manny Ramirez having an MVP type season.
And the Indians are deep. I mean, they have some players who can step up and step in. We're not talking about minor league free agents that are in the big leagues because guys are hurt. We're talking about guys that are capable big league players that just can't play because the players in front of them are just so good.
Two and two on Shane Spencer. Ramiro Mendoza is now up in the Yankee bullpen. And Spencer strikes out for the third consecutive at bat. 7th in the books from Yankee Stadium. 5-2. Following a tremendous pitching performance by Hideki Irabu over the first 7 innings, Ramiro Mendoza is the new Yankees pitcher. The numbers on Mendoza: 3 and 4, 4.57. He is the stopgap to Mariano Rivera. One of the other Yankees setup man, Jeff Nelson, on the DL until August. So Mendoza comes in to pitch the 8th. As we remind you, weeknights on FX, it's the X Show. Watch the new FX series for men and the women who put up with them. Catch the X Show Monday and every weeknight at 11, only on FX. Well, Mendoza replaces Irabu, who allowed only 3 hits in 7 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout, plus the home run.
Yeah, had a little trouble with his control tonight, but maintained it pretty well. His 3 walks all came pretty early in the ball game, and I think, once again, strong start for Irabu.
Randy Velarde leads off the Angels 8th. He was 0 for 3 against Irabu. And he takes strike 1 from Mendoza. The Yankees bullpen here at home, Ken, over the last 9 games, 28 2/3 innings, they've allowed only 2 earned runs. 0-2 on Velarde.
And of course, the Yankee bullpen was and is one of their strengths this year. They have different people out there this year than last year. I think they're still looking for another left-hander, but guess what? Lots of teams in the bullpen looking for another quality left-hander. I think one of the things that makes Mendoza such a good fit with this club is he can start and he can relieve.
Graham Lloyd, who did a nice job for the Yankees over the last couple of seasons, a left-hander traded to Toronto in the David Wells deal. Wells, Lloyd, and Homer Bush for Roger Clemens. Mike Stanton, the only left-hander in the bullpen right now. He warmed up earlier. Mendoza started 6 games for the Yankees. This is 14th relief appearance. And a ground ball. Nice play by Brocious, who spins and then throws out Velarde. 1 away.
I'll tell you what I like about this play right here. Number 1, he's got great range to his left, which gives Jeter a little more room to cheat. But watch what happens when he catches the ball. Stretches, takes his time right here, doesn't try to rush the throw, gets plenty on it and gets him by 3 steps. Nice, solid defensive play from a guy who knows how to play third base and who's got a lot of range to his left.
Here's Mo Vaughn. He takes ball 1 from Mendoza. Mo singled in the first. He's 1 for 3. Strike called, 1-1.
I would think you'd have a hard time. At least I can imagine myself hitting, and I know you've played some baseball with that kind of protection on your arm. I guess I would think it's something you just have to get used to as a hitter. And there are lots of hitters. Barry Bonds wears a lot of protection up there. The guys that are right on top of the plate and don't like to give in are the guys that are wearing the protection there.
And that is one big piece of protection. Now 3-1 on Vaughn with 1 out of the Angels' 8th. 5-2 Yankees. Full count.
Boy, swung at a bad pitch right there. I mean, off-speed pitch away. That was the only spot in the lineup that Mo didn't really have a whole lot of power to, or a whole lot of, red zone to. And look at the defense. Three guys on the right side. They know where he wants to hit the ball. So he swings the ball for there. Let's see what he does here.
Mendoza strikes one out, and then the throw from Posada sails into left field. Normally he would throw down to third, but Brocious was at the shortstop position. In any event, 2 outs in the Angels' 8th. Mets came back, but lost by a run. They trailed 6-1 in the third. Giants over the Cubs, 11-5. As we continue with the National League scoreboard, Dodgers all over the Phillies. Brewers with a big lead. Bottom of the 9th in Cincinnati. Little number out in front of the plate, and Posada throws out Todd Green. A 1-2-3-8 for Ramiro Mendoza. Bottom of the 8th from Yankee Stadium, 31-year-old right-hander Alan Levine is the third Angels pitcher after Magnanti went 2 innings, did not allow a hit, and struck out 1.
Yeah, Magnanti did a good job, retired all 6 batters he has faced. Now turns it over to Levine, who was picked up on waivers from the Texas Rangers April 2nd by California. And you got to look at his numbers: 8 walks, 9 strikeouts in 25 innings. Long man, pretty much sinker, slider, curveball type of pitcher.
Levine's claim to fame: he was a teammate of Michael Jordan's with the Birmingham Barons back in '94. And he will look to retire the Yankees here in the 8th. Brocious, followed by Knobloch and Williams. And then for the Angels, who trail by 3 in the 9th, they will send Anderson, Gloss, and Erstad to the plate.
And if you're a teammate of Michael Jordan's, one thing he probably has is he probably got 5 dozen Michael Jordan AA autographed baseballs.
I would hope.
Mike, I need another dozen.
Scott Brocious lines out to Anderson on the first pitch. Brocious had singled his last 2 times up. 1 away, the Yankees' 8th. Chuck Knobloch has 2 consecutive base hits. They also committed an error back in the 7th, leading to an unearned run. Angels have lost 5 in a row, 10 of their last 13, and they trail here 5-2. Only 3 hits for Anaheim. Knobloch 2 for 4, and he takes a strike. Mariano Rivera up in the Yankee pen. He's converted 14 consecutive save opportunities.
This is a save opportunity. 5-2 is a save. If they score more runs here, it becomes non-save situation.
So is Mariano hoping his team does not score?
I think Mariano is the kind of a guy that says, I just go get him tomorrow if I have to. Unless he needs the work, but he got a little work last night.
And tomorrow it will be David Cohn for the Yankees, 7-2 against Tim Belcher, who's 4-6. Then the Yankees head on the road to Tampa Bay, while the Angels head out to Seattle. 1-2 on Knobloch, with the Yankees ahead by 3. Strikeout number 1 for Levine. 2 away. And that will bring up Bernie Williams.
Knobloch getting a few boos here in New York. He takes a pretty big whack at this pitch. I mean, this looks like he's taking the big swing. Look at that. That's not the kind of swing that you expect to see from Chuck Knobloch.
The Angels bullpen, Magnanti and Levine, have retired all 8 batters they have faced in relief of Omar Olivares. Here's Bernie Williams, doubled in a run his last time up. Bernie 2 for 3. Fouled off down the left field line, 1-1. For the Yankees, Derek Jeter with 2 runs batted in tonight. Bernie Williams, Chili Davis, Jorge Posada have driven in the other Yankee runs. 2 hits for Knobloch, 2 hits for Bernie Williams, 2 hits for Scott Brocious. And a tremendous pitching performance by Hideki Arabu, 7 innings. Only 3 hits, 1 earned run. There's Brocious in the Yankee dugout. The 2-1 to Williams. Now 3 balls, 1 strike with Derek Jeter waiting on deck. Derek hoping for one more opportunity. Well hit center field. Anderson on the run. Back to the warning track. It's out of here. Home run number 9 of the season for Bernie Williams. A solo shot with 2 outs in the 8th. It is now 6-2 New York.
Yeah, Bernie's had a pretty good night here. He's had 2 doubles and a home run. 3 for 4 and some RBIs. Here's the pitch. Out over the plate. Straightaway center field, 408 feet. And he knew it. No doubt about that.
Remember, he just missed one back in the 3rd. Doubled off the top of the right field wall. (6-2) Yankees. Here's Derek Jeter, who's 1 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. Velarde to Erstad, and that retires the Yankees in the 8th. But they score another run on the Williams homer. We head to the 9th. 6-2 Yanks. Top of the 9th inning. Bernie Williams, solo homer, bottom of the 8th. Yankees now leading 6-2. New left fielder for the Yankees, Chad Curtis, has replaced Shane Spencer in left. There's Chad, another former Angel. Garrett Anderson leading off the 9th. 1 for 3, doubled his last time up. Anderson, Gloss, and Erstad for the Angels. Here in the 9th against Ramiro Mendoza, working his 2nd inning of relief. Now 1-2 on Anderson.
And once again, he pulled the string a little bit right there, and Garrett out in front of it. Remember, yesterday he was taking BP, and the only thing they were throwing him was hard and slow, hard and slow.
Fouled off the plate, so the count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. The executive producers of FX Baseball Saturday Night are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. The coordinating producer of FX Baseball Saturday Night is Larry Myers. The head of field operations is Andrea Jenkins. Bounced foul back behind first. Tremendous job by our entire crew tonight. As usual, our producer Jim Drake, director Jeff Mitchell, along with Matt Lipp, Mitch Rubenstein, Ken Breitstein, Mark Alsmeyer, plus the rest of the crew from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Bounce to the right side. Tino Martinez to Ramiro Mendoza. 1 out. And Mendoza has retired 4 in a row. So the Angels 2 outs away from dropping their 6th consecutive game. They were swept in Toronto. Lost last night 4-1. They trail 6-2 here tonight. Last night only 5 hits. Just 3 hits tonight.
Not swinging the bats. I think it's a typical story. It's what the Angels have been plagued with going back the last couple of weeks. They are 9.5 games out of first place. Looks like they will stay at 9.5. Texas lost. They could not pick up the other half game that they would have gained with a win here tonight.
Drilled to left. Curtis, couple of steps back. 2 out. Gloss 0 for 4. 4 fly ball outs. Again, our Kodak play of the game. Back in the Yankees' 3rd with 2 outs. Yankees led at the time 2-0, and Chili Davis doubles into the left field corner. This scores Derek Jeter to give the Yankees a 3-0 lead.
And that's the kind of a night it's been. Just solid baseball on the part of the Yankees, and the Angels very quiet offensively. Angels a couple of errors defensively, led to one unearned run, and they just continue to play poorly.
Strike call, Darren Erstad. 1-1. Hideki Irabu will earn the victory. His record will jump to 4-3. Omar Olivares with the loss, 6-5. And Mendoza looking for save number 1. Yankees did not go to Mariano Rivera. And this will be the first save by a Yankee other than Rivera this season. Fly ball, left field corner. Curtis racing over. He's got it. Game over. Angels losing streak now at 6. So the Yankees win it by the score of 6-2. Save number 1 for Ramiro Mendoza. Yankees back to a game-and-a-half lead over the Red Sox as they have won 2 straight from Anaheim. So the Yankees win it over the Angels by the score of 6-2. Join us Thursday on Fox Sports Net. You'll see the Orioles and the Red Sox, or the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Next week, FX Baseball Saturday Night takes place as part of our Saturday Night Bash. The Cardinals and the Diamondbacks at 10 Eastern. Coming up next on FX, MASH in progress. For Ken Brett and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Yankee Stadium. Yankees 6 and the Angels 2. You've been watching Baseball Saturday on FX.